The MINExpo show in Las Vegas last week was a rip-roaring success, attracting exhibitors and visitors from across the mining world. But it also marked a turning point, a paradigm shift in the fuel and energy used to keep the mining wheels and tracks turning. Industry giants including Liebherr, Komatsu, and Caterpillar each underlined their commitment to clean energy and sustainability during the show, and each of them did so in markedly different ways. In this exclusive audio podcast from Demolition News and Diggers and Dozers, we take a deep dive into this radical shift and how it might impact in other allied industries. We hope you enjoy the show.
All right, everyone, get ready, because today we are diving headfirst into a green revolution you won't believe.
Buckle up.
We're talking about the biggest, and I mean biggest deal in Liebherr's 75-year history.
And that's saying something.
Liebherr, for those who don't know, they practically invented heavy machinery.
They're like the heavy machinery legend.
And they're teaming up with Fortescue Metals Group, a global giant in iron ore, to go all in on zero-emission mining technology.
Yeah, this isn't just a pilot project. This is the big leagues.
It really is. What's incredible about this deal is the sheer scale of it, the audacity, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. We're not talking about a few electric trucks here and there. This deal involves a mind-boggling 475 machines.
Well, 7.
Liebherr and Fortescue are basically drawing a line in the sand, showing the world that, hey, a rapid transition to green mining, it's not some far-off fantasy.
It's commercially viable right now.
Right here, right now. And they're betting big on it.
And it all starts in, well, one of the most intense environments on Earth. The scorching, unforgiving landscape of Western Australia. That's where Fortescue's mining operations are, and let me tell you, they are massive.
Oh, massive doesn't even begin to describe it. Just to give you an idea of the scale of the fuel consumption we're talking about. Last year alone, their fleet guzzled enough diesel to fill. Are you ready for this?
Hit me.
Over 2,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools.
You're kidding me. Okay, that is a lot of diesel. That definitely puts things into perspective. And it makes Fortescue's pledge to achieve real zero emissions by 2030 even more impressive.
2030. That's what, less than 7 years away?
That's the goal.
Ambitious doesn't even cut it. That's downright revolutionary.
Especially for a company that's already known for pushing the boundaries.
Exactly. And here's the thing, this isn't just a PR stunt. They're not just trying to greenwash their image.
Right, because we've seen that before.
There's a very savvy business strategy at play here, driven by some powerful forces. Investors, for one, are really starting to scrutinize companies with big carbon footprints.
As they should.
Absolutely. And the writing's on the wall. The cost of those emissions, it's only going up. Whether it's through carbon taxes, regulations, or even just consumer pressure, it's going to hit them where it hurts their wallets.
So it's like a perfect storm brewing. Environmental urgency meets economic reality.
You got it. And Fortescue, they're not just reacting, they're anticipating. They see an opportunity here not just to clean up their own act, but to become a leader in this whole green mining revolution.
They want to be the go-to, the experts.
Exactly. They're aiming to be the go-to source for sustainable mining tech. And that's a smart move because other companies, they're going to be looking for these solutions. And who are they going to turn to?
The ones who already have it figured out.
Precisely.
It's like Dr. Andrew Forrest, Fortescue's executive chairman, said recently, I think it was at the MINExpo, he said something like, the world can't afford to wait.
He's not wrong.
They're not just talking the talk, they're walking the walk.
And that's the exciting part. This isn't some far-off futuristic dream. They're showcasing solutions that are ready to be implemented today. This is happening now.
Okay, so let's dive into the really cool stuff, the technology itself. Because we're not just talking about your average electric cars here.
No, we are talking about heavy machinery, heavy-duty stuff.
Yeah.
On an epic scale.
Give us the rundown. What kind of tech are we talking about here?
Okay, so picture this. The crown jewel of this deal is the Liebherr T264 haul truck. But not just any T264.
Because they're already massive.
We're talking about a fleet of, get this, roughly 360 of these behemoths. Each one the size of a house.
The size of a house. Okay, now you're just trying to one-up the swimming pools, a house.
And they're going to be converted to run entirely on battery power.
Wow. Okay, so that's already pretty amazing. But it gets even better.
Because they'll be autonomous.
Wait, what? Autonomous? Like no driver at all.
You got it. Driverless trucks. Liebherr is bringing their A-game with their autonomous haulage solution. AHS, for short.
Catchy. So how does that work?
It's amazing. This system is going to orchestrate the movement and optimize the routes of all these massive trucks, all while managing their charging schedules. So you've got maximum efficiency, minimal downtime. It's like air traffic control, but for a fleet of giant electric self-driving trucks.
This is next level stuff. I'm trying to wrap my head around that. Okay, so we've got the trucks, but what about the batteries themselves? We're talking about powering machines this size in some of the harshest conditions on the planet.
You're not wrong.
I mean, that can't be easy.
This is where Fortescue Future Industries comes in. That's their green tech division. They've been developing these batteries specifically for this kind of demanding environment.
So they're not just pulling these off the shelf.
Nope, these are custom designed for this. Durability, longevity, and of course, they've got to have the range to cover those massive distances in a mine. We're talking serious battery power here.
And the tech just keeps getting cooler, doesn't it? I
Yeah.
mean, we haven't even touched on the charging infrastructure, and I have a feeling this is where things get really mind-blowing.
Oh, you have no idea. Picture this. We've got these 360 monster trucks, right? Each one thirstier for juice than well, let's just say they need a lot of power.
Mm-hmm.
Now imagine having to plug each one in.
Yeah, that's not exactly practical, is it? Talk about an extension cord nightmare.
Exactly. So what's the solution?
I'm on the edge of my seat.
6 megawatt fast charging robots.
Robots, like actual robots that charge the trucks.
You got it. And they're strategically positioned throughout the entire mine site.
So it's like a pit stop, but for charging.
Exactly. High-speed, heavy-duty charging on the go.
That's incredible. It's like something out of a sci-fi movie. Okay, so we've got self-driving electric trucks the size of houses being charged by robots. What else is there?
Well, they're also bringing in 55 electric excavators, which, by the way, Fortescue already has some experience with.
Oh, right. They've been ahead of the game on some of this stuff.
Oh, yeah, for a while now. But here's the real kicker. They're developing a battery-powered dozer.
Wait, did you say a dozer? Like a bulldozer?
A bulldozer. Can you imagine that?
That's insane. I mean, this is where it really hits home for you that this isn't just some futuristic fantasy. This is actually happening. This technology is being built right now as we speak.
And on a massive scale. This isn't some small pilot project. This is the real deal.
It really is a game changer, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's a testament to what's possible when you have ambition, engineering brilliance, and that sense of urgency. This deal, it's a shot across the bow for every other mining company out there, and frankly, any industry that's dragging its feet on decarbonization.
Right. It's like they're saying, look, if we can do it in one of the toughest industries on the planet, what's your excuse?
Exactly. The technology is here, it works, and guess what? It makes economic sense.
So it's not just good for the planet, it's good for business. You love to see it. But it's not just about Fortescue, is it? I mean, this has to have major ripple effects throughout the industry, right?
Oh, absolutely. Both Liebherr and Fortescue, they're putting their money where their mouth is. They're investing heavily, not just in the machinery itself, but in the infrastructure, research and development, workforce training, everything.
It's like they're building a new industry from the ground up.
In a way, they are. And they're creating a blueprint for others to follow.
So anyone who's still clinging to those old, dirty technologies, they're going to be left behind.
It's like a green mining starter kit. Here's how you do it, world.
Love it. And because this is all happening in the Australian outback, one of the most challenging environments on Earth.
And believe me, it is brutal out there.
Once they prove that it works there, it can be adapted for anywhere, right?
Exactly. We're talking solutions that will work in the Arctic, the Andes, the Sahara Desert, you name it.
Global impact, check. But we'd be remiss if we didn't acknowledge the challenges. Because there have to be some hurdles to overcome on the road to a zero-emission mining future, right?
Of course, there are always challenges, especially with something this ambitious. For starters, scaling up battery production to meet this demand, that's huge. We're talking about securing reliable, ethical, and sustainable supply chains for lithium, cobalt, all the critical minerals.
And those supply chains, those are a whole other can of worms, aren't they?
You could say that again.
Yeah.
Geopolitical complexities, environmental concerns, it's a lot to navigate. And then there's the workforce aspect.
Right, because mining, it's a traditionally labor-intensive industry. So the shift to autonomous electric machinery, it's going to have a huge impact on jobs, isn't it?
It is. There will inevitably be some job displacement. That's just the reality.
Yeah.
But it's not all doom and gloom.
Right, because this also creates new opportunities, doesn't it?
Exactly. This transition opens up a whole new world of possibilities for upskilling and for new jobs altogether.
So what kind of jobs are we talking about?
Think software engineering, data analytics, renewable energy systems. These are the jobs of the future, and they're going to be in high demand. But of course, there's always that one big elephant in the room that we haven't addressed yet.
And I think we both know what that is.
Cost. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Transitioning to this level of technology, it requires a hefty upfront investment. There's no getting around that.
Cost. It's the question on everyone's mind, isn't it? But maybe the better question is, what's the cost of not doing this?
Now you're talking. That's the key, isn't it?
Yeah.
We can't just look at the initial price tag. We have to look at the bigger picture.
The long game.
Exactly. What's the cost of sticking with the old ways of doing things? The environmental damage, the health impacts, the economic instability we're facing with climate change?
Those costs are going to be far greater in the long run.
No doubt about it. And Fortescue, they get it. They're playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. They understand that investing in these technologies, yeah, it's a big upfront cost, but...
It'll pay for itself.
Exactly. And then some. Think about it, lower operating costs, increased efficiency, and who knows, maybe they'll even start selling these solutions to other companies.
There you go. Turning sustainability into a profit center. That's the sweet spot, isn't it?
Absolutely. But let's be real, not everyone listening is a mining CEO with billions to throw around.
True, true. So what's the takeaway for the rest of us? What can we learn from this, even if we're not in the mining industry?
Well, for me, it's a powerful reminder that change is possible, even in industries that seem, well, stuck in their ways.
If mining can go green, anything can.
Exactly. So what's our excuse? That's the question we all need to be asking ourselves.
What can we do in our own spheres of influence, our own workplaces, our own communities?
It's a call to action.
Could we be doing things better, more sustainably, more ethically, more efficiently?
Those are the questions that really matter. And I think that's what makes this deal so exciting. It's not just about mining. It's about challenging the status quo. It's about proving that a cleaner, greener, more sustainable future.
It's within our reach.
If we're bold enough to go for it.
And on that note of cautious optimism, we'll leave you to ponder those possibilities. All right, let's dive into something kind of wild. Yeah, we're talking about mining, but like in a whole new way.
Mining. What could be so wild about it?
Hold on. Imagine, right, those massive mining operations, the kind that keep the lights on, but picture them running on clean energy. Seems like a fantasy, right?
Okay, I'm intrigued. Yeah, that's not exactly the image that comes to mind when I think of mining.
Right. But that's what's so cool about this. We're looking at Komatsu. They're huge in construction and mining equipment, and they're shaking things up with this thing called a power-agnostic mining truck.
Power agnostic, that's a new one.
Yeah, and we've got the inside scoop from this recent industry event. Plus, get this, they're actually testing it out in the real world.
Okay, now you've got my attention. What's the deal with this power agnostic thing? Is it some new engine?
That's the thing. It's not just about a new engine. It's like, imagine a mining truck that's not stuck with just one type of fuel. This Komatsu truck, it can run on regular old diesel, but it's also all set up for electric batteries, hydrogen fuel cells, or even a mix of both.
So they're basically saying, hey, future, whatever you throw at us, we're ready. That's smart.
Right. It's like future-proofing a truck. They're giving mining companies options. As technology changes, they can adapt. It's like this really cool modular design.
It's like having your cake and eating it too. You can ditch the fossil fuels when you're ready without sacrificing any power today.
Exactly. And the best part, they're already testing it out.
Oh yeah, where?
Komatsu's partnered up with Boliden. They're really big on sustainability, and they're sending this truck on a year-long trial to Boliden's Adik mine over in Europe.
Adik. I know that mine. It's one of the biggest copper mines globally. If this truck can cut it there, it can cut it anywhere.
And this isn't Boliden's first time pushing the envelope. They were actually the first in Europe to use Komatsu's autonomous haulage system, self-driving trucks at their Adik mine. They're not afraid to take risks.
It's part of a bigger trend we're seeing. Mining companies are feeling the pressure, right? They've got to be more efficient, less impact on the environment. This trial is a perfect example of that shift.
So, big picture time. What does this all mean for the future of mining? We could be looking at a future where these huge mining operations are powered by renewable energy.
We're talking wind, solar, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, and this truck. It's a huge step in that direction, don't you think?
Absolutely. Imagine this. What if these trucks could be charged right there at the mine using solar or wind power generated on site? Talk about closing the loop on sustainability.
Now, I've got a question. You mentioned electric batteries and hydrogen fuel cells. How do you even begin to scale that up to a massive mining truck? Those things are huge.
Well, for electric, think of it like those giant batteries you see in electric cars,
Right.
but way bigger. The challenge is making sure they have enough juice to power these behemoths for a full shift. And then there's hydrogen fuel cells, which is really interesting. They use hydrogen to make electricity right there on the truck.
So the tech is there.
Oh yeah, the technology is ready to go. But here's the thing. For it to really take off, we need the infrastructure. We need ways to produce and transport hydrogen on a large scale. That's the next hurdle.
So this whole power agnostic thing, it's not just some tech solution, it's sparking a whole new way of thinking.
Right, and it gets you thinking, what other industries could benefit from this kind of adaptable technology?
Right. Besides mining, I mean, where else do we see these big fuel-guzzling machines?
Oh man, all over. Think about it. Heavy-duty transport, construction, even agriculture. This could be massive for those industries. It's about breaking free from the old ways of doing things.
It's amazing how one cool idea, like this partnership between Komatsu and Demolition, could really change things up in all sorts of industries.
It really shows that sometimes the best solutions come from collaboration. It's about thinking outside the box. And this truck, it's not just a truck. It's a sneak peek into a future where sustainability and industry aren't at odds. They work together. And that's pretty exciting. All right, so maybe you're like me. You kind of geek out on those massive machines, the ones that move mountains.
Yeah, the heavy hitters.
Exactly. And when we think sustainability, it's easy to focus on like electric cars and solar panels. But what about those industries that really put a strain on the planet? We're talking mining, folks, and today's deep dive is going to blow your mind.
No kidding.
We're zeroing in on Caterpillar, the big dog when it comes to earth-moving equipment. They've just announced a huge EE shift in how they build their mining trucks.
And this isn't just some small tweak, it's a total game changer for the mining world.
So let me set the stage here. Caterpillar's known for these monstrous trucks, right? But now they're introducing this thing called a modular platform for their flagship Cat 793.
Yeah, it's like they're taking a page out of Lego's playbook, but for, trucks the size of houses.
Totally. What's wild is they're offering diesel mechanical, diesel electric, A&D battery electric powertrains. Like you pick what powers your monster truck.
It's incredible. This is a huge deal because up until now, mining companies were kind of stuck with whatever powertrain came standard.
Right. This gives them so much more control and flexibility, which is, I imagine, huge for planning and budgeting.
Oh, absolutely. And you got to hand it to Caterpillar. This is seriously strategic. See, diesel electric, that's like a stepping stone for companies not quite ready to go all in on electric.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and diesel mechanical, that still has its place in certain situations. By offering all three, Caterpillar is basically saying, we got you covered no matter where you're at in your sustainability journey.
They're future-proofing their business, that's for sure. And it's not like Caterpillar's a stranger to adapting, right? They've been doing this for ages. I mean, they've got these programs to extend the life of their existing trucks, retrofitting them with new tech, keeping them running instead of scrapping them.
Absolutely. Caterpillar is legendary for its machine's durability. I mean, these things are built to last. But this new approach, this modular design, this could mean even longer life cycles. Think about it. Less waste, more efficient use of resources, and way better return on investment for mining companies.
Music to any business owner's ears, right?
Oh, absolutely. And get this whole longevity thing. It's not just for the 793. Caterpillar's taking it fleet-wide. We're talking about the 794, the 796, even the 798, all getting the modular treatment.
So it's not a one-off experiment. This is their core strategy moving forward.
Exactly. It's a whole new ballgame.
That's wild. And they have this other thing, the Cat Dynamic Energy Transfer System or whatever.
Right. Cat Dynamic Energy Transfer, yeah. It works with all these new electric platforms, and basically it captures energy that's usually lost during braking and, get this, feeds it back into the system.
So they're like recycling energy within the truck itself.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
It is. Reduces operating costs and de-emissions. Seriously clever engineering.
Okay, so we've established Caterpillar is going all in on a greener, more sustainable mining future. But what does this all mean, really, for the industry, for the planet? Is this a turning point, like, for real?
I think it has the potential to be. Caterpillar is a behemoth in this industry. When they make a move this big, the whole world pays attention. Other heavy machinery manufacturers, they're going to be watching this very closely. I wouldn't be surprised to see a domino effect with new sustainability standards and regulations popping up everywhere.
It'll be interesting to see how governments react to this, too.
Totally. This could be a catalyst for change on a global scale.
And let's get a little sci-fi here. What about the ripple effects on tech as a whole? Could this lead to, like, super efficient batteries, totally autonomous mining, even changing the very materials we extract from the Earth?
You're hitting on something really important here. The push for sustainable mining isn't just about doing less harm. It's about finding entirely new ways of doing things. This is where we see Caterpillar's vision of integrated site solutions really taking shape.
So instead of just a bunch of machines, it's like the whole mine operates as one big interconnected system.
Exactly. And that opens up a world of possibilities. We could see AI optimizing extraction routes in real time, swarms of autonomous robots working together, things we can barely even imagine right now.
It's mind-blowing. So for our listeners out there who are, let's face it, probably hooked on this stuff like we are, what's the big takeaway, the thing they should be chewing on after they finish this deep dive?
I'd say this: sustainability isn't some passing fad. It's not about being green for the sake of it. This is about a fundamental shift in how industries operate.
Right.
It's about creating systems that are more efficient, more resilient, and ultimately more profitable in the long run. And what we're seeing from Caterpillar, this is a perfect example of that shift in action.
It's a brave new world of monster trucks, that's for sure. Thanks for diving in with us today.
Anytime.